Hi, everybody. It's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift advisor and Akashic Records expert. Say that 10 times fast. Hi, everybody. Welcome tonight. It is March 30th of 2021. And the energy shifts that have been happening, especially with the last full moon, have been pushing us towards greater and greater awareness of our traumas from this life and inner childhood traumas and things that have been bothering us. So tonight I'm coming on, whoops, dropped the book, coming on because I'm going to be doing an Akashic record reading. And we're going to talk about how doing an Akashic record reading and or clearing is usually what I do, and how that can help you to heal your inner child and make the process much faster. So first of all, I'd like to talk tonight about what I'm seeing in my client base among many of the clients. And then, so that you can relate if this is you. And then I'm going to talk about Akashic Records and what they are, and then how that can help us heal the inner child. And then I'm going to pick 4 members of our audience that are here tonight to do an Akashic Records reading for. So if you are in the audience tonight and you have a question, then I'm going to ask you, to go ahead and put your question down here in the feed on Facebook. And then I will address those questions. So I'm going to get open here. There we go. All right. So now I can see your questions. All right. So first of all, I'd like to talk about what I'm seeing across the board. So since last Tuesday up until today, clients have been contacting me and they're like, I just don't know what to do. I feel kind of weird and I'm not sure what's going on. And so I began to explore and I found out that a lot of people are feeling their inner child. They're feeling like they're bad or wrong for some reason and they don't know why. There's a lot of fear going on, a lot of self doubt. And the 2 biggest ones are self punishment. That's a huge one. And self deprecating. It's almost the same thing. So, on one hand, people are telling me they can feel themselves holding themselves back and not going forward. And on the other hand, it's self punishing. So, maybe they do something really good for themselves and they move forward and then they end up messing it up. And so, either way, that's what it's looking like right now. And many people are feeling this. And what's funny is that in Facebook, as you know, they will, if you have a personal page and you post something, they'll pop it up 5, 10 years later. And something came up in my Facebook page about exactly that, about changing your attitude and changing your current life and looking at past life issues or traumas. So I thought that was kind of funny in the cycle of things. So if that's happening to you, or you can relate to that, the energies are aligned that are forcing us in our physical and spirit bodies, because that's we are physical and spirit bodies, to take a look at traumas from this lifetime that parallel other lifetimes. And so a lot of childhood trauma, things you thought you worked through, you're feeling better, you're moving forward, you're making better associations in your life, drawing boundaries, all those safe things that you thought you were doing good at. And then what you're finding is that you still have these deep-seated, deep-rooted feelings of not being good enough, not being able to measure up. Sometimes we go forward with doing things and end up screwing ourselves up because we're pulling that frequency towards us. And so, if we desire a certain thing, like, just randomly, let's say we desire to win the lottery and it takes, 4 numbers to match. And we really have positive energy and we're in the flow and we buy the lottery ticket and they pull the numbers and what comes up are not the 4 numbers that we picked, but 3 of them. So we're like 1 shy and there's no prize for 1 shy. Well, in that way, you're headed in the right direction because your energy is resonating more with that win, but there's still something missing. And that's something missing is the feelings deep inside, the traumas that we've all had in our childhood that have made us feel lesser than. Sometimes that came from a parent who either didn't spend time with you, and when you're a kid, that's all you really want. Just spend time with me, lavish me with attention, play with me, and we don't get that. So we feel lesser than. Sometimes it comes from a sibling. Siblings always poking at you and telling you that you're ugly or you'll never measure up or you can't do this. And you internalize it. And that becomes an issue. Other times growing up, our parents were struggling to make it financially. And we saw that growing up. And maybe, everybody in school got a little red truck and you wanted the little red truck Hot Wheel too, and you couldn't get it because your parents couldn't afford to do that because they had to put food on the table. So you were lacking having what you desired. You were lacking having that abundance. And that played havoc on your mind. So when you get older, you may not be able to afford things because you're not allowing yourself to move forward, because then you would be in a different frequency than what you grew up in. That's what it looks like in this life. And those are just a couple of examples for this life. But what I'm saying is that where the frequencies are now, where the alignment of the planets are now, and this huge moon that came in and went, woohoo, let's push the energies a little bit more. That is where we are now. So if you're having any of those emotions that are coming up for you, that's what we're talking about tonight. And I must have a lot of angels or something in my office because I noticed the screen keeps blipping, which is not normal. I hope it's not the computer. It's a fairly new computer. It's a beautiful computer. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. Anyway, so how does the Akashic Records relate to that inner child issue? All right. So, for those of you that are not familiar with Akashic Records, Akashic is a name that comes from the Hindu Indian history. And they had different books that were written, different things in them. And within there is something called the Akashic Records. And according to that belief system, those are all of the records written of all of the lifetimes one has ever lived. It records basically your emotions, things that you learned, because the desire is for the soul to travel through different lifetimes to learn different things. So, for those of you that struggle with that, after years of research, I finally found the Akashic Records do exist in the canonized version of the Holy Bible. In the book of Revelation, it says, every man will be judged by the book of life. Same thing. Book of Life, Akashic Records. So I'm not sure about the translation because the Bible says Book of Life, period, singular one. So I'm not sure about that translation. I didn't go back and study it. But nonetheless, that's what you're looking at. So the premise is that our soul incarnates and lives more than one time. And if it hasn't learned what it was supposed to in one particular incarnation, it takes it into the next incarnation to learn. The other thing is, if you've learned in that incarnation in one capacity, then you might learn in a different capacity. And I was working with a gentleman tonight. We were talking about how come he was having so much trouble in this life with just tripping over himself and not being able to succeed. And what we talked about is that in these learning processes, I guess, when you live a lifetime, you might come in as a person who is on the receiving end of bad behavior. And so your soul gets to experience what that's like to receive it. On the next life, you want to learn a little bit differently, so you come in on the giving end of the behavior. So maybe you're the perpetrator, the person who does the bad or the wrong. And then there's the role of the person who watches that, the observer. And there's other roles as well, but we can go through many times to learn what that looks like to build character. and to understand energy in motion and feelings and thought forms. And sometimes why we come back, I don't get it. you know, but that's what we do. And for those of you that are new in metaphysics, new in this world, get with me. We'll talk about it. Went to college and took theology, or not theology, but actually Eastern wisdoms, and learned a lot about theology and did a lot of study into these things. So I'm just giving you a very thumbnail overview of what I've learned. And it can be shocking, the first time that you hear it. But yes, we live more than one life. And our soul learns. And so if you are in, let's see, this lifetime over here, and you grew up in a really super poor household and really, really struggled with money, that's this current life. And these energies coming up are bringing this up to you by showing you lack or poverty or not being able to meet your bills or whatever it is you're going through. We can go look at the Akashic Records. So we open up your book of life and we say, hey, how many lifetimes has this person worked with this energy in any position? And we find that. And then the record can be straightened out, or what's called a clearing, an energy clearing. But the record can be straightened out such that your soul will get to keep all the lessons and the wisdom without having to hold on to that energy. Because that's what it is. It's a record of energy so that your soul knows what it's learned. If any of you went through high school or you went through college, you know that they kept track of the classes you took. They kept track of what you learned so you could graduate. And the same is in the Akashic Record books. The only problem with that is if there's an energy you haven't worked through, it's not like at the end of college, once you graduate, you don't have to go back and do all the papers or tests you didn't do. You still got to do them. And so if you've got all these lifetimes stacked up with poverty issues, not having enough money, in lack, or having a lot of money come to you and you spend it and don't save any of it or invest it, there's probably more than one lifetime you've been through, which means there's energy that's left over or residual from each one. And those can be lined up, cleared, clean slate, like a whiteboard, take all of it off. And then in the record book, put the wisdom that was learned. So now you have the credits, but you don't have any of this residual energy. Then in this life, you can move forward faster because you're not dragging so much behind you. I hope that explains what Akashic Records are. That was the intent, and how that, that works with the inner child. So whatever you've got popping up now that's owie, whatever memories are coming up from the trauma you experienced, be it with, a friend or a relative or a classmate or, whatever it was. Maybe it's a perpetrator you didn't know. It has some bearing in the past. And right now, my guides have been telling me that this season that we're in, this first year of being in the age of Aquarius, is about clearing up old stuff, old dust bunnies under the bed, so we can move forward. All right, I did say that I would do a few readings tonight here for free so people can get a feel for it. If I choose or select you, if you go ahead and put your comments down here in the feed as we're working together, because I won't be able to hear you, and tell me what you think. And I'll do a few short readings so that everybody can see or sense or know or feel what that's like. So let's go ahead and look and see who we've got here in the feed. Let's see here. So say hi to a few people. Hi to Angie, hi to Peta, hi to Craig. Hi, good to see you, Craig. Let's see here. Hi to Tracy. Hi to Phyllis. Carol. Hey, Carol, how's it going? Hi, Belen. Good to see you. Hi, Phyllis. Let's see here. Loren. Hey, it's good to see you. And it looks like I got more than one Phyllis. So hi to all the Phyllises tonight. Carol, good to see you. And let's see here. Tracy, good to see you. Chelsea, good to see you. Lauren, good to see you. All right. Carrie and Derek, good to see you. And Jolene, good to see you. So if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Uh, try to get to as many as I can. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do tonight, if you are in the audience live or maybe watching later, I have had people tell me that they will actually feel my angels going out and healing them. They say sometimes all they do is watch the recordings and they feel better. So if that's you, great. I'm so glad that that's working for you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask. Okay, so Angie is the first one that's asked a question. So I'm going to ask my guides to connect with her and create a safe space for us to work with spirit or source. And she says, how many lifetimes prevented me from my weight loss? I know my inner child may be holding on to trauma. Have I just not found the key? Very good question. So weight loss is definitely something that you can look at in Akashic Records and your current life. There's a lot of different reasons that people eat. And I know personally when I went on a doctor managed weight loss program, I was going to lose about 15 pounds in about 30 days, and it didn't happen because I got so far along and I went to emotional eating. And that's when I really realized that we'll have a hole down inside of our heart that we're not really consciously thinking about. And so we'll put food in that fills our belly expands and gets big, and we suddenly feel full, which is mistaken for the heart. So that can also happen. All right, so let's ask the number of digits in the number of lifetimes preventing her from losing weight. So I get there's no lifetime. So Angie, I know you've done some clearing on your own, so good job clearing that energy. Let's ask a different question. How many lifetimes in which your inner child was made to feel not good enough that are currently playing out in your ability to lose weight? And I get 39 lifetimes. So we'll ask Spirit to clear that out for you and put that cleared energy note into your records so that you can move forward. So Angie, I hope that's your key. Thank you so much for your question about weight loss. That was great. All right. And then I see Phyllis is on here. Phyllis, thank you very much. And you said, may I please have a reading? And thank you. So Phyllis, I love it. This is what I've been teaching my daughter. Please and thank you. You didn't ask for a specific kind. So we're going to ask the spirits to close the door and working with the previous person and open up to working with you so that we can have a clean record here. So again, Phyllis, you might feel tingling sensation when I'm working with you, might feel hot and cold, goose pimples. This is normal stuff. Ask for your guides to give me what's the most challenging thing for you at this point in your life. And there's two things. One is money, not income, but specifically dealing with money. And the other one is purpose. So, Phyllis, what that tells me about you is that when you feel like you have a life purpose, when you're invested in something to focus on, that you work with money quite easily, and it really isn't an issue for you. It's not about having too much or not enough. It just seems to flow. And so if you've lost your purpose, lost your focus, perhaps with COVID, you've lost your job, you're kind of tripping over yourself because you don't know what to do next or where to go, and the money is showing that. So it's kind of like a push-pull relationship with money. And Phyllis, if you're feeling that, can you give me a thumbs up or perhaps put a comment down below? But we'll ask that any records that have to do with you struggling with those things throughout any lifetimes be cleared. and that gracious, loving energy and understanding be put back and put into your records. All right, so now I'm going to go down to the next person, Bellen. Can I have a reading? Hi, Bellen. Good to see you. I hope the girls are doing good. So Bellen, again, you didn't ask a question, so I'm going to ask Spirit what is in your Akashic records that's causing the most challenge, and I get what it goes right to work. So work doesn't mean career. So to me, work is something that you're doing, one day after the next to help process something else or someone else's dream. So, if you're working at, say a lumber yard, and you're working at this lumber yard and you're putting the lumber on the pallets and moving it from the warehouse, out to where people can come and touch it and put it on their carts. That's work. So you're actually doing something to help, things process from point A to point B. But a career is more about something that you're doing because you want to know about that, you desire to know about it, you learn about it, and as you go along, you learn more and more and more and more, and you follow along the same thought pattern or same energy exchange. That's a career. But what I'm getting for you is that in your Akashic records, the word work is lining up with your past about 3 years old, and 4 and 5 years old. So that's what's going on for you. And so there may be some issues that way. You may be having some trouble. So we'll just ask that to be cleared off the records. And I'd ask you to think about your past in your childhood. Was there any trauma surrounding work? Did you see your parents work and they didn't make enough money? Or maybe they worked their whole life and they had nothing to show for it. Or maybe there were struggles at work. Just different things like that might have personally impacted you, being a feeling sensitive, loving, caring person. Okay. And, oh, hi, Lauren. How you doing? All right. And so we'll ask that the records be cleared for that, loving energy put in place, your soul educated. All right. So we're going to close up from that session. I don't want to have any contaminants from one person to the next. Then it says Carol. Carol asked, could you have a reading, please? Hold on one sec here, Carol. Just one moment for me here, Carol. Okay. So just for you to be aware of, I'm not able at this moment to block anybody from my page while I'm doing this, but I do see somebody who has trolled in and they're messaging some of you to inbox them right now. Please don't do that. They're a troll. So they're trying to get people from my page to do business with them. That's not cool. And so bye-bye, troll. Um, anyway, moving right along. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so Carol. Let's find out what's going on for you, Carol. Okay, so Carol, what I'm getting is there is your energy body, which is, rolling forward, getting things done, being involved, but it's being retarded or held back by your mental ability. So I don't know what's happening for you. I don't know if you're struggling with post-COVID or something else, but struggling mentally and that holding your energy back from you being able to go forward is something that's repeated at least 34 lifetimes. So I'll ask for that energy to be cleared and removed from the lifetimes. Good. Super good. And then Carol, too, if you would put down in the comments how that felt for you. And I'm going to take just a little break and I'll come back and I'll do a couple more readings. If you'll hang in there, I'll get down the list. But what I did want to tell you about tonight is that coming up on the 14th of April, so that's about 2 weeks from today, I am doing something called Awaken the Power of Your New Story Now. And so if you've been following me or you're looking at what's going on in the metaphysics community, you're going to hear a lot of people talking about moving ourselves forward post-COVID and really taking over our lives again, taking our power back and directing our lives along the path that we would like to go. So back during COVID, I did a class about awakening the power, awakening your story within. And there are very specific steps that you can take to take your power back, to harness it and move yourself forward. These are similar things, but not the same as the book, The Secret. That book taught you a lot of metaphysical principles, how to move yourself forward, and all those kind of wonderful things. But what it didn't tell you to do was specifically day to day. And so this formula that I have that is so super easy is the formula that's going to take you from day to day to day to day to day to day until you achieve what it is that you desire. And there's only a few steps to it as far as bringing it together, writing it down, and then it's how to use that tool going forward. And I have used it before in my life. I used it to manifest the house I'm now in. But it's a way to bring energy to you from the universe, from spirit or source, and bring it into your life so you can live a more happy, joyous life, the life you deserve to live. So if you're interested in knowing how to do that, please go to toolsofenergyprotection.com. And if you're on the phone, scroll down a little bit. If you're on the laptop, it's on the left-hand side. It says Awaken the Story Within. And it's going to be on the 13th of July, or not July. Where am I today? I'm passing through the Akashic Records. Oh, it's been like that most of the day. A lot of just kind of weird energy. It's going to be April the 14th, which is about 2 weeks and 1 day from today. And if you go over to toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on the link and get yourself registered. I will send you, like I said, it takes about a couple of hours, maybe less than that. And I'll send you a link. It's on Zoom and you'll get some handouts. So I can't wait for you all to join. It's a wonderful program. All right, so now I'm going to go along and let's see who else we have in here. Let's see here. So Angie, you did peg that person was a troll. You'd asked that question. And let's see if there's anybody. Okay, so Jolynn, let's give you one. Hi, Derek. Hope you're doing good. And Jolynn, you did not ask a question either. So I'm going to ask your guides. Make sure we clear up from the last person and wash ourselves clean. Good. I'm going to ask from the last or for you. I'm going to connect with your guides. Okay. So Jolynn, your guides are saying that right now, the thing that you're repeating is the meaning with children. So if you have children, something from your childhood is coming forward, which is natural and normal, and having a bearing on how you're treating your kids. And that can go both positive and negative. So if we didn't feel like we received enough love in our growing up years, we might dote on our children. If we had absentee parents, we might become a helicopter parent. So whatever that looks like for you, that's what I'm getting. So really look at what's going on inside of you in your relationship to children. If you don't have children, and you have a feeling towards, why, let's say you on purpose didn't want to have kids, what is that reason? What is it in here inside your heart? And that's what to bring forward to heal. Doesn't mean you have to have kids. But what it does mean is that the pain is in there so deeply that you've chosen to not have children so it doesn't trigger, so you don't have to work with it. Okay, moving right along. Let's see. Hi, Craig. Good to see you. I'm so glad you jumped on board tonight. All right, and we're going to wrap up from the last person. We're just touching kind of the edge of Akashic Records tonight. I do want to go forward and do a little bit more in depth, like maybe clear an entire Akashic Record on one of these evenings. If that's something you would like to see, give me a thumbs up, and that way, like, I'll pick a winner or two winners, and we'll just do an Akashic Record clearing from the beginning to the end, because not only does it involve other lifetimes, but who were you? You know, were you a priestess, a nun? Were you a famous movie star? Are you a gangster? You know, who were you? And we reveal those, and then the relationships and how you died, or who killed you, or who you might have terminated. And they're really fun to see. And then that shows you the tension of that lifetime and what carried forward into this one. So if you would like to put a thumbs up or a heart, if you'd like to have a full Akashic Record clearing done so you all can see what that's like. Okay. Let's see here. Melena says, I haven't got back to you about my mom and grieving for her, but I've been working a lot. Wanted to know if she was angry. So, Melena, since we're talking tonight about Akashic Records and our inner child, I would ask you to think about why you feel inside that. Hang on a second. Why you feel inside that your mother would be mad at you, even, you know, at this state. So please really think about that. What are the issues inside? What happened between the two of you? Because that you can clear in this current life, and it'll clear up past lifetimes as well. All right. So that's what I'm going to do for tonight for the readings. I wanted to only do about 4 so everybody can get a kind of a taste or a feel for it. If you if you did not get a reading tonight and you would like to get a reading tonight, I'm going to ask you to go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and click on personal sessions, and then my calendar will pop up. You can pick any time that you like and just click all the way through, and you will be able to reserve your time with me. And we can do a full Akashic Records reading, talk about more subjects, what's happening for you now, what steps can you take now? Because it's great to clear a record and then you feel freer, but you're like, okay, now what? What do I do? What steps do I take? Which I do include in my consulting part of the Akashic Records reading. Belen says, thank you. You answered my second question before you saw it. You are welcome. Let's see here. Jolene says she wants to get rid of her insecurities and worries. Okay, Jolene, let's work together and go into that more deeply. Good. Phyllis says she's blocking the troll. Good job, Phyllis. Let's see here what else we have, because when I get off of here, troll person, I am coming after you. You will troll no more on my page. Let's see, but I do want to tell you something. On Thursdays, not every Thursday, but on Thursdays, I get on the For Heaven's Sakes Books Facebook page, and I will do little mini Akashic Record readings like we're doing here tonight. And I always know that I'm doing good because somebody trolls me. That means that I'm popular enough to have somebody want to troll me. So I know that's kind of silly and funny, but you know, it does kind of make you feel good in a weird way. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to ask Loren. Let's see here. Carol and anybody else who posted on here tonight that I did not get to. to be patient, because I will bring live Akashic record readings back around if I get enough thumbs up. And I'm going to run a contest to pick people to work with and do a full reading for. Let's see her. Good. Angie says she'd love to see a full Akashic Records reading. Good. Loretta, all those. Please watch. And hi, Ron. Hope Patty's doing better. Big hugs and kisses. I will do some more of these about once a month, so about once every 4 weeks, and I will send out emails to tell people they're coming up, and then I'll of course let you know. So before we go off tonight, I want to thank you so super much for joining me. I love each and every one of you. You do make my world worth developing new things and coming up with new things and learning new things all the time. But I have done Akashic record readings for myself. I started out, and I've been doing this for a little bit over 10 years professionally, and I've read lots of people. I've learned lots of things. So when you come to work with me, not only are we going to listen to what your challenges are, whether they're mental or emotional, physical, spiritual, we're going to listen to those, and then we're going to find out how best to approach the records to help you. How many lifetimes, can we clear? And today I worked with a gentleman, and as soon as we cleared the energy, he felt it in his physical body. And that is just amazing to me.